Hello. Hello. Hello everyone. Well, as you can see, my marketing plan project will be a little different because I was unable to contact with my group project people because of unable to communicate with them. So I asked the professor about this and he said I could do it by myself. So yeah, this is just all on me. So you're going to see marketing plan of alternative fuel source. What is this alternative fuel? It's going to be hydrogen fuel. And hold on for a second. Let me go share our screen. There. Now, where do I start? All right, let's see. Yeah, my executive summary of the hydrogen fuel source. Well, the business I have created would be a new fuel product for all vehicles all around the world and have a more reduced environment. Sorry if I'm looking a little really up screen because I am basically recording myself. So give me. Around the world have a more reduced polluted environment. Since the beginning of discovering fossil fuel and other sorts of material that we use to fuel our vehicles and such, and we have used them to converting them into gas or diesel to fueling our cars, trucks, and other kinds of motor vehicles. However, from using these fuels, it gives out byproducts of harmful gases like carbon monoxide, and it harms the environment as such around us and also ourselves as well. While there have been creations of cars that make use of that different kinds of fuel sources that power their vehicles, like electric cars using electricity as their fuel source, that could also be helpful to the environment. The fuel source I would want to bring out for my marketing plan to the world is using hydrogen gas fuel, as it is an important fuel source that is used for industrial processes, fueling spacecrafts, and even generating electricity as well. Now, for many times, this gas is used for it wouldn't be too presumptuous of using hydrogen to fuel cars and any other vehicles that have been using gas or diesel as an alternative fuel source that would help the environment of the world and making it safer for the future. For a second, let me try to bring it down. All right. Next, I wanted to add that not only having vehicles switching to a different fuel source, I wanted to add the part of how this hydrogen gas is used exhaust port of any vehicle would produce harmful gases. And if you were to be close to it and if you inhale it, would make anyone get any sort of disease, it would be fatal to all of us. The point is instead of getting any kinds of harmful fumes from the exhaust port, the hydrogen gas would not only environment, it will only just bring out water instead by using electricity that would bring gas and remove the electrons from it, and the hydrogens would combine with the oxygens of the circuit that powers the motor of the vehicle, and from this it would be brought out to different car companies to have these new vehicles with this alternative fuel source, as it could help reduce pollution and also putting a greater deal that will sell to people and make it more cost effective and less harmful to the environment. Right. So now, the situational analysis. The main objective for this business idea is giving out our companies with a new kind of energy source that is also environmentally friendly. It can give out a whole new role to cars of this alternative fuel source, as it can help with more sellings of their vehicle products or for trying out a new product of their car company and putting more sales of the different vehicles, and this will have a greater sale than before. I also want to work on helping out with the vehicles being economically friendly, would put things greater, have a better life. And with these new vehicles, it can also help with cutting down prices of when paying for gas, as its prices for it have increased over the years, and letting the alternative hydrogen fuel source will be more of a fair price on when wanting to fuel their vehicles. Now, for now, how now, now with this kind of product, who would basically attract? The focus on customers I want for this are basically people of 18 to 21 years old. Of how when reaching the average age of an adult, there will be times when they would wanting having their own car and finding one that is perfect for them. Parents that might help with purchasing a car for them as well. The search of cars would be challenging and difficult for the pricing and how much mileage one would have for when driving the vehicle, and also when the kinds of oils to use for car and in case it might be running low. But with the new vehicles of the alternate fuel source that is suggested, they will have a much better time for choosing their own vehicle and also being eco-friendly with the environment as well. And the other focus of buying this new vehicle will be parents as well, as purchasing cars isn't easy for their pricing, as I stated previously, and with the other responsibilities that will be there for purchasing it as well. As stated in the customer environment, due to the vehicles with the alternative hydrogen fuel source will help with mileage and less worrying of pricing vehicles for a more fair price for anyone that is looking for a good price on a vehicle. In addition, it will have a great effect on the environment, like I have said before, that will help people out a lot more by being in a less polluted place to live while still having a great vehicle that helps everyone out. Now, for the external environment. Well, in the case of any kind of competition, competitors, or government involvement that could have an effect on my organization for my alternative fuel source. My first issue I would want to discuss would be gas companies such as Chevron, ExxonMobil, Total Energies, Equinor, ENI, and would feel like they're in danger as having a different gas company that offers a more compatible and friendly fuel for people, and that would have serious consequences for them, as when customers have decided to go for more of this alternative fuel source, it can bring down their sales of vehicles that sell and use gas and wouldn't be able to make any sales, and stocks would plummet. It might even come to a point where different ways of getting customers to buy their vehicles that require gas and the like of others. However, that will come with their own sets of challenges for trying to lower prices or kinds of ways of getting people to products would probably getting their great sales, but not with lower prices, as the demands of getting these products around the world would have a great cost, and one day the gas companies might not be unable to pay for all the materials and transportations to getting air fuel product ships around the world and might even go bankrupt. After that explanation, it would be safe to say that use of hydrogen fuel would have competition, but it might also last on trying to make the same price for vehicles that use the alternative fuel source. The other part of the issue is how the government would react using a very flammable gas to be used for cars and as such for fuel source rather than some factories or spacecrafts, which is also dangerous as well. It is understandable that using a dangerous fuel source like hydrogen to be used in cars, and if people are not careful, would cause accidents that might be more dangerous than gasoline, and it might get people's lives to be lost as well. There would need to be regulations of trying to make the hydrogen fuel source to be able to be safe use, and also with the proper care of making it so that mechanics and engineers would know what doing, and also for the people that purchase it for the safety of using it too. As with all that, it would help with allowing the government to use the fuel source as long as the safety for to use it is in order and people know what they do to use it correctly. Now, strengths and weaknesses. But the greatest strength of the fuel source is for being efficient in its using of fueling with engines of cars and making a greater use for it for helping with greater mileage of the vehicles. The greater efficiency would help with vehicles to travel further for trips, and it would make great sale for its efficiency, and that would make for great business for a company using this fuel source. For the weakness of this marketing product is transporting it and keeping it in infrastructures for storage. While said that the pricing for the hydrogen fuel in cars and other vehicles is not pricey, the transportation is expensive for the materials of shipping it and making expensive for being volatile, and that there have been many infrastructures that built for keeping it in storage. Now, opportunities and threats. For the opportunities, as I want to say first that gasoline was a common fuel source for cars and other vehicles, and the companies that run them would station to refuel them. That would help them be able to go through trips. In recent years, new kinds of fuel sources were being made to help with better ways of being efficient and long-lasting to make it better for trips, and there will still be other alternatives being made to help with it. This provides an opportunity for a different kind of fuel that have been used for other fuelings to be used for more common use like in vehicles and other motor vehicles, and how hydrogen fuel, as I stated, would be used to help as well as making it be more environmentally friendly to people, and with the extension of helping the world and to its environment. The main threat to have the hydrogen fuel source is how very flammable it is. If something goes wrong, it might ignite it. As hydrogen is a lot more explosive than natural gas, it isn't properly handled correctly and safely, it would make it dangerous to anyone, especially to the people that will be using it as a fuel source. In addition to this problem is that hydrogen is prone to leaking, and if exposed to the atmosphere, it can have a greenhouse gas effect that be more potent than CO2 without the proper care of it and sealing it so no other kinds of leaking may happen to harm the environment. From all, it would be ill-sufficient if only the engineers and mechanics of handling the hydrogen properly, but also with the amount of people that drive their vehicles using the hydrogen, handle it carefully as well. Right. Here's my SWO2 matrix. Gives you a better explanation of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for my new alternative fuel source. Now, for the developing competitive advantage of the company. The competitive advantage of having fuel source is that it can be produced from diverse domestic resources with the potential for near zero greenhouse emission, as is used for generating electrical powers and fuel cells that would turn into water vapors. And from source, the greater the benefits of the fuel source would make it a greater sale for people than with gasoline or diesel fuel, and greater health benefits as well. The main goal of this marketing plan was to give out a new source of fuel that will help reduce pollution and bring out good in the environment. The benefits would help out with using different environmental friendly fuel sources instead of gasoline. It would get results to helping the world with having a vehicle with a fuel source to help world, while also raising sales for these kinds of vehicles as well, to be a benefit. Objective. The objective of reaching the goals of my business is first by doing some field tests to see how the fuel works in any of your vehicles, and with the success of it would be start of the next part of the objective. The next part will be going to a car company like Honda, Hyundai, or Toyota to show the ideas of how efficient and helpful it is. If they agree, they will give out the new fuel source to try and find different areas of setting up fueling stations for this. Sure that engineers and mechanics of the plants make it these different kinds of vehicles to taking out the hydrogen fuel. And of course, we be fair if any of these companies that were to make success with this new fuel source of mine, and we would try to be sure to make everything is fair. There will be no kind of clashes or any unfair investments for both of us. Sorry. Now, my primary target market. The primary target of the people that I focus on is the people of ages range of 18 to 12, as I stated before, for the customer environment. for to have their own product vehicle when reaching the legal age of an adult. Also, drive it as well and to go anywhere around the world that they like. Another target would be for the adults of purchasing it, if not being too expensive, but still great mileage for them. For the product, can be any would want to have a car, usually like the young adults and probably their parents as well, of having a car that might be good for everyone and enjoying it. The whole point of the product was to give people a more efficient and friendly to the environment, to the world with the hydrogen fuel source, as they're people to making the environment to be better. But it is difficult for the amount of pollution that is happening around the world. And with an eco-friendly, you go with a source that doesn't produce any harmful gases, would be a start of helping the world of traveling to be in other parts of the world. Now, the pricing. Pricing for hydrogen fueling station would be starting at $3.75 per gallon of of it. And from looking over prices of gas companies will be like $4.90 or $35, and it will keep on rising to this point where the drivers now might be able to wanting to purchase such prices for this gas. And while, yes, this kind of increasing price will happen to my company as well, my company of with the hydrogen fuel source to try to meet supply and demand of making and transporting the hydrogen. It would agents and people will be fueling their vehicles, but it won't increase in large quantities as much as the other gas companies, so the efficiency of its use will, no danger of bringing out any harmful fuels in the environment, will make greater sales and will make it easier for of be able to go with us to meet with the supply and demands without having to increase too much pricing as much. The supply chain for the distribution will be put through pipelines that will to supply the fueling stations with the needed fuel. The other part, the supply would be delivered from trucks where the hydrogen would be placed in pressurized tubes or cryogenic liquid tankers to keep them from leaking and to be safe for being delivered to the refueling stations that are needed for new supplies. And with the other car companies I have stated, would help with financial research to be able to distribute the products and to check any sorts of changes and disturbances and might clash with their own finances and working through it to benefit for both of us. The promotion of advertising for this new product for people would be showing it on the show of modern TV, as there are many commercials being shown of cars and there are certain types of gases and gas stations to fuel them. The advertising for this would be showing on how would want to keep the environment safe from pollution and want to show the product a safe and friendly use, not only being more efficient fuel source in vehicles, but also friendly to nature. Also, to have the car companies that would alternative fuel source and helping with promotion, as they're popular companies that can also be help with it for the amount of people that would buy their vehicles. For another way of promoting, it can even be for use on the internet by showing it with ads like on YouTube, this new hydrogen fuel source, and how it will help with the world and everyone else with it. Here is we're excited for the information that would help with my new marketing plan. Thank you everyone for listening. And that is it.